You may find that when you insert a cotton bud or a Q-tip inside your ear and you swivel it around, that when you retrieve it back out of the ear, there's a lot of wax stuck to it. You may be extremely lucky that some of the wax is quite sticky and it just sticks to the end of the cotton bud and you manage to remove all of it. Quite often that wax that's on the Q-tip cotton wool is just surface wax. It's like a veneer of thin wax, which may even be invisible to the naked eye when we examine the ear. So it's like a thin coating that lines the ear canal. And that wax is actually really helpful. It's there for a reason. It helps to lubricate the ear canal wall because wax is quite oily and greasy, full of fatty acids. So it prevents the skin from drying. It lubricates the skin. It helps it retain its internal moisture. Wax is slightly acidic, so the acidic nature of wax is known to inhibit certain bacterial fungal growth, can also act as an insect repellent. And wax is sticky, so any foreign particles, dust, dirt, pollen that may enter the ear can stick to the wax. And for the majority of us, we'll say about 90 to 93% of the population, earwax naturally comes out of the ear by itself. So it's a self-cleansing mechanism by the ear to generate earwax, to help protect the ear canal and to trap any foreign bodies, and then that wax eventually is moved out of the ear and replaced by fresher layers of wax. So a cotton wool sometimes doesn't remove chunks of wax. You're just scraping the veneer that's lining the canal wall, which is there for a reason. Also, the cotton bud, you can then graze the side of the ear canal and damage the outer layer of skin. The outer layer of skin is very important. It's a protective layer of skin. And if you breach that outer layer of skin, it allows harmful bacteria and fungi to colonize the deeper layers of skin to the dermis and subcutaneous layer, which can then lead to an infection. So definitely stay away from cotton buds. It's not a good practice. And again, if you read the fine print on the packaging, it does actually state to avoid using it in the ear. So the question that we often get asked at the clinic is, what should people do? What should people themselves do to clean your ears? The answer is nothing. Your ears, as I said, generally self-cleansing. The more you try and clean your ear, you can actually make it worse, just like this particular case here. If anything, you could use on a weekly basis or fortnightly basis some medical grade olive oil spray, and you instill it in your ear, you let it soak for a few minutes, and then you tilt your ear in the opposite direction to allow the oil to drain. And the concept of that is that you're washing and rinsing your ear out using medical grade olive oil as opposed to water, because water is bad for your ear. You don't want to get water in your ear because that can lead to an infection called swimmer's ear. But instead you're using a medical grade olive oil to do that. And olive oil, our ears naturally secrete oils anyway. Olive oil is also slightly acidic, so the acidic nature of olive oil, there's some research to suggest that it also has antimicrobial effects. And for some people, if they don't themselves secrete natural oils in the ear, which can then cause dryness and itchiness in the ear, medical grade olive oil is an alternative. It's a replacement. So that's the only thing I would recommend. Of course, you can't use olive oil if you've got a hole in the eardrum or you've had previous ear surgery where the bone has been chiseled or widened away like a mastoid cavity. So do read the instructions prior to using. In some cases, if you're kind of a waxy person already, using oils can sometimes have the opposite effect, sort of washing away wax. Sometimes the oil itself can adhere itself to the wax